Let's get personal for a little bit. So you meet people, you are more open, you are more observative these days, you notice your friend takes a medication because you're at her house and you see it. You've heard your friend bring up that she has depression once in a while and didn't say anything else about it, or anxiety. You have a friend that has been to a lot of doctor's appointments and you know something's wrong. She hasn't been feeling so great lately and she's had a lot of tests, but you don't really know what else is going on. What do? You have a friend who is experiencing medical problems, whether they're chronic or you don't know. It's always iffy, even with family, because there's a line of what do I say, what's appropriate to say, and mostly how you say it and how you word it. And that's what I wanted to go over today, are some things that you can ask and inquire to your friend about their illness that you might know that they have but not know much about, and say, hey, like, I know you have cerebral palsy. I looked it up on the internet and I heard there were 3 kinds, or I heard there were 5 kinds, and I was confused, what's right? Would you mind explaining that to me? Could you inform me about that more? Most people would be very happy to explain something like that to a friend. Especially, I would love when people would do that. I'm very open to answering questions. When people especially take the time to research and look into what I'm talking about, and then can still be like, I don't really get this, but I'm like, oh, you took the time to look into that. That's really interesting. It shows that you care. Always ask, if you're not sure, do you mind if I ask about your disability? Do you mind if I ask about your anxiety? Hey, I know you've been going to a therapist lately. Do you mind if I ask you what that's been like? And if the person says no, or they're not comfortable with that, or answers very vaguely, then you just want to respect their privacy, and maybe they'll open up a little bit more later. If someone uses an assistive device, really anything, I mean, it could be glasses. Can I ask about your glasses? Like, girl, why are your glasses tinted green? Can I ask you about your glasses? I've had that, like, why are your glasses tinted green? Explain, oh, it has to do with neurology and all these different things. And sometimes it's a little confusing, and you can answer as vaguely as you'd like, or as detailed as you'd like, depending on how you know a person and the situation. It could be about a portacath. I see you have that thing. I've seen that with cancer patients a lot. Can I ask you some questions about it? And then if you were asking me, I'd say, sure. And then you could say, well, why do you use that? What do you have that for? I could say I just have multiple medical treatments that I need intravenous access, or I could say what the things are. So I don't have to get into, I have Lyme disease, I do IVIG, I do ketamine treatments, I do all these things. If you don't want to, you don't have to speak about them at all. You can just say, I'm not comfortable talking about that. Or I'd rather not speak about that right now, but thanks for asking. You can ask about somebody who has a walker. What is it? Oh, you have a walker. Can I ask you about that? What is it like with the front? Oh, what are the different types? Oh, how does your wheelchair work like that? That's really cool. I saw one that's like this. What are the pros and cons of why do you have 2 wheelchairs? Don't you only need one? how do both help you? How do you cope with this illness? Like, it seems so stressful going to the doctors. You go to the doctors all the time. Isn't that super stressful? Are you really stressed out all the time? And if so, like most people with chronic illnesses do have a amount of stress, you can explain to them how you cope. I'll be like, oh, I'm listening to music all the time, and I have my service dog. And people have asked me about Sonoma, and I say how he alerts for seizures, he responds to seizures, how he helps me with my medication. And with people I haven't met and they just are asking about him, they don't ask anything more. I don't get into Lyme disease and stuff like that, but usually they kind of get it when I just mention seizures and things and mobility, and don't say so what's your diagnosis? I've never had that happen. You can ask about some of the challenges someone may face with an illness. It must be really hard to take all that medication. How do you handle that? What challenges do you face with having that chronic foot pain? Oh, it's hard for me to sleep. Oh, I ice my feet every night. It helps me. I take baths. It makes me hard to focus because I have really stiff joints, and it makes me hard to focus. Or, my medication makes me really tired and I have to sleep, and it's hard to take a nap in the middle of the day, and I just want to go out and play and be with my friends and hang out and do sports and activities. Understanding is a big thing, and communication is a huge thing. Advocation for chronic illnesses and diseases is a great thing, and it's a very important thing. Now, are you gonna die? It's kind of a are you dying? I don't know if I would just say that to anyone. It's kind of strange. So I'd kind of stay away from something morbid like that. But in general, you really have to know your friend, know what, be open to learning and not understanding everything, because you're not going to understand everything that they go through. But you can say, oh, that must be difficult. I can't imagine how that must be. Because usually you're not going through those same things as them. So it is hard to imagine something that you're not going through, or that you don't use or have attached to your body, and needles stuck in your chest, and how that is. And oh, how do you shower with that? Oh, what is this thing over here? Does it hurt? And it's normal to be curious. It's just really important to be polite and respectful, and think about what you're gonna say before you say it. It's important to always respect boundaries, and as you create a closer and closer relationship with different people with disabilities or chronic illness, you can probably ask more deep questions. And it just depends on the person, how willing, I can't speak, I hate aphasia going on, how willing they are to share and how detailed they want to go into it, because some things can be just so confusing and so intricate that it's just hard to explain, or it's physically just like me, hard to get words out even if they're very simple things, and that's why I had to write these things down before I did this video. I hope that helped you see how to approach someone that you know about a topic. Just be a good person. Don't ask anything mean. I think it's important to be more open, and it doesn't mean you have to tell everyone everything about you, but we don't need to keep everything a secret and be ashamed of it and feel like you need to hide it, because your illness is not your fault, your disability is not your fault, and you're more than your disability.